Okay, so Ripple is about to make some of the most significant changes in the cryptocurrency industry. And you already know that this has the potential to revolutionize the game if you're paying attention. We are now getting close to a resolution after years of fighting the CC. This indicates that Ripple is preparing to launch its expansion ambitions full force. Ripple may finally be seeing an end to the legal ambiguity that has been looming over the company like a threatening cloud. When that occurs, the business may make a number of calculated actions that have the potential to rock the financial industry as a whole. There's a lot on the table at the moment, including the prospect of an XRP ETF, potential IPW, and significant banking partnerships expanding into CBDCs. It is time to examine what all of this means for Ripple and XRP's future. But before we go into the specifics, please like this video, subscribe, and comment with your ideas. I appreciate your help. The prospect of Ripple conducting an IPO is among the most significant speculations that are currently going around. That would be a significant turning point for the business if it occurred. Through share repurchases, Ripple has raised its own worth to an astounding $11.3 billion. The company's confidence in its future is evident from that alone. As the SAC lawsuit draws to a close, there is increasing conjecture that Ripple might eventually decide to go public. Executives had made references to this in the report, but it was challenging to forward with those plans because of the lawsuit. An initial public offering, IPO, might be the next sensible move after the regulatory situation has stabilized. In addition to providing liquidity to early investors, this would solidify Ripple's position as a major player in the financial industry, increasing its attractiveness to institutional investors. Additionally, XRP would gain a great deal of credibility from an IPO, which would spur adoption to previously unheard of heights. An initial public offering, IPO, has enormous potential, but it's not the only thing that could happen to Ripple after the lawsuit is over. The lawsuit's effect on Ripple's capacity to establish alliances with large banks has been one of the company's most significant obstacles in recent years. Traditional financial institutions found it challenging to fully commit to working with Ripple because of the uncertainty surrounding XRP's regulatory status. However, that might soon change. We might witness a surge of new banking alliances if Ripple prevails in its legal dispute. Additionally, some of the most well-known figures in finance have previously been highlighted. According to reports, after the litigation is settled, Ripple may begin working with banks, including Santander, American Express, and Bank of America. Not to mention that Ripple now has more than 300 partners in the financial sector worldwide. Growing these connections would be a huge step forward and enable Ripple to contribute even more to cross-border international payments. Additional banks, it would be revolutionary to include Ripple's technology into their payment system, moving the company closer to its objective of using blockchain to revolutionize the world financial system. Ripple is making significant strides in the field of central bank digital currency, or CBDCs, in addition to non-traditional banking collaborations. Even though the legal dispute has delayed some of Ripple's growth plans, the business has continued to move forward in this direction. Ripple has been actively evaluating its technology as a possible foundation for government-backed digital currencies through CBDC pilot initiatives in nations like Palau and Colombia. These initiatives might go even more quickly if Ripple wins its legal battle, hastening the creation and implementation of CBDCs on Ripple's blockchain. The adoption of CBDCs is becoming a top priority for more and more governments, and Ripple is establishing itself as a pioneer in this field. Additionally, there has been an increase in stablecoin activity on the XRP ledger. Users are becoming more confident in Ripple's tokenization systems, and the ecosystem is expanding with additional digital assets scheduled to launch soon. Ripple's infrastructure is growing in popularity as governments and financial organizations search for safe, effective blockchain solutions. This indicates that stablecoin use on XRPL has increased significantly, enhancing its position in the digital finance environment. However, please hit the subscribe button, like this video, and share your thoughts in the comments section before we go into the specifics. I appreciate your help. While all of this is great, the potential for an XRPF is one of the most significant developments that could result from Ripple's court triumph. If you've been keeping up with the cryptocurrency industry recently, you are aware that Ethereum and Bitcoin have already received EDF authorization, allowing institutional investors to access and invest in these assets in a controlled manner. Many analysts are now questioning if XRP will be the next one. According to sources, Ripple executives have even alluded to supporting the idea of an XRP-EF, which is becoming more and more popular. There may be significant movement in the direction of an XRP ETF if regulatory certainty is achieved, which would attract a surge of institutional investment. ETFs have a track record of boosting asset validity and demand. The price and uptake of XRP might therefore be greatly accelerated by an ATF. This time, the expansion of Ripple's service offerings is the main reason for its recent surge in popularity. The main concern is how the price of XRP will be affected when the firm that created it keeps coming up with fresh ideas. As if you've been following the most recent developments in the Ripple ecosystem, you are well aware that Rulu's, their recently launched stablecoin, is quickly emerging as a key component. With the recent creation of an additional 25 million coins, the supply of Rulu's has been increasing steadily, paving the way for even more liquidity inside the Ripple network. Does this, however, result in a rise in XRP's price? Let's dissect everything. Rulu's has been one of the most eagerly awaited additions to Ripple's growing ecosystem, for those who may not be aware. In contrast to conventional cryptocurrencies, which can be quite volatile because Rulust is a regulated stablecoin, companies and financial institutions may trust it to conduct safe transactions. The two main blockchains at the moment, and Ripple's own XRP ledger, 8IRPTO, are home to a floating quantity of Relus. Over 125 USD was in circulation on Ethereum at the time of this recording, but over $44 million USD was on XRP. At first look, these figures may appear a little off, but they actually make perfect sense when you take into account the current status of DeFi's decentralized finance. Despite recent price swings for its native cryptocurrency, ETH Ethereum continues to be the most liquid network for decentralized apps. In contrast, DeFi on XRPL is still in its infancy. Relus are mostly circulating on Ethereum rather than Ripple's own blockchain because it hasn't really taken off yet. But as Ripple works to expand its ecosystem and encourage more people to use its own network, this might change. The